Feeling that.
Well, here we are again. It's great to see all your smiling faces. I hope they're smiling when we're done. No, I'm just kidding. But we have a lot for you today. I guess we didn't decide who's going first. Do we care what order we do it in? Or did you have something you want to share with us first?
We have some responses for you all, but we're open to whichever.
Yeah, why don't you go with
order.
responses, and that way we can have something to work on. We go to caucus, and
Okay,
because ours will take a minute, so
Okay.
that's probably the better way, I think.
that sounds fine.
I appreciate it.
So,
I'm just gonna hand out the stats.
yes, that is fine. I'll let you get your stack, and then we can go through that. Thank you.
Thank you.
You guys, you have them, so I'll dive in. Does that sound good?
Please, please.
Okay. So the first article that we are bringing back is a response to Article 7. We're all continuing to kind of try and chip away at getting to an agreement on this one. You'll see at the start, we have picked up your change of the word alternatively. Some of these might be repeats of things that we've already gone over, but for my own brain to kind of cycle through it, I kind of got to go paragraph by paragraph, so sorry about that. We have agreed to pick up the cross out of reasonable. We have agreed to the strikeout of the language in 3. I think we kept the word whenever. It's more semantics versus when versus whenever there, so we just kept the original word. We have picked up the strikeout of nighttime and the addition of the word will. Now kind of moving into number 6. So we did not pick up the strikeout of the reasonable costs for providing requests and materials. I think we explained last time that that piece is part of the law. We added a phrase to kind of reflect your, I think I had asked you a question last time about the 30 days that was sort of floating there. And so that the language you see in 6 is kind of our attempt at kind of putting some language to what you had answered to that question, that within 30 days of the work performed, there would be a bill provided. We did not pick up the language in the strikeouts in number 7, because again, from our perspective, and I think we shared this last time, the current wording in 7 with the wording during work hours and subject to the accommodation and undue burden language, those are both part of House Bill 2016. And so we would like to retain that language in number 7. In number 8, we kind of went back and forth, and I know we talked here at the table about kind of the spirit of what your proposed language was. We've tried to address that interest here with some language in 8. So instead of saying that an employee not signed in would be docked an hour of pay, I think that doesn't take into account that that employee might be working. And so we wouldn't just want to say arbitrarily if they aren't signed into the meeting, they get docked pay. If they are performing work for the district, they should be paid. I'm sure, I think you guys would agree to that. So we've changed that wording to any employee who either fails to attend the orientation or report to work may be docked the pay. So basically, you have to either go to the orientation or you have to be working in order to be paid on that. And then we picked up the because of, which is in that one. In B, it looks like that's a change that we had already agreed to as teams with the capitalization of R and taking out the word every. Then in Then in 9, the language that you all had suggested about meeting to agree, we did not pick that up, and that was largely due to the conversation we had here at the table, that there's already a process in place with HR to schedule those things and to communicate those meetings. The district is concerned that by kind of setting it in stone like this, then there's no flexibility in making sure that those orientation meetings, which we're committed to the number and all of that, but that if there needs to be some flexibility about the timing or what have you, that this language could create some problems with that. So us not adopting it doesn't mean that we are not committed to having them and having them on a certain cadence. It's just that we'd like to have some flexibility to work collaboratively to schedule those. We picked out the cross out of front. And then I know in 10A and B, the discussion around that I recall is that you all had proposed crossing it out because this language was largely not really used, or you didn't feel like it had really been used in practice. Our folks still feel like having those kind of parameters is important, even if maybe it hasn't come needing to be used at some point. They'd like to retain that language. So we have kept A and B on that. There is a previous agreement to the word the, and then in E, I think, so there, the word that was in there was to, and there's a cross out. I'm not sure why there's a disagreement between that one and this one. Oh no, because maybe the original, you didn't have the cross out in yours. So we've basically picked up the same phrasing that you had in that section. Looking ahead, under 12, there is, it's not highlighted in this version, but it looks like we've already agreed to the word everyone in there. And then under 13, we've agreed to your cross out of designated. And then under B, we have made a change to the words human resource director to refer to the more appropriate position here at the district, the assistant superintendent or designee. We did still keep the existing language around notice because, and I think we expressed this at the table last time, there's just, with how few hands there are available, and sometimes, planning is just so important that the district really felt like they still needed to have that advanced notice and that those parameters were important to them. Then under C, we are reflecting that we've both agreed to that be reinstated language. Then under your 14, there was that was kind of titled miscellaneous with the different sections, and I think A and B were in the old contract were 15 and 16, and so you see that in our proposal. Then with respect to the proposed additions in C, D, and E, I'll kind of go through those. So for C, our concern there is that we are already doing that in terms of compensating for participation in bargaining sessions and whatnot, and the district really doesn't have any intent in changing that. It's not like we're saying, hey, we're going to go change that next year, but there is a concern with finances and whatnot, that if that ever came into play where that became a big financial impact that the district had to look at, this language would really eliminate any flexibility around, scheduling sessions and all of that. So that is why they are not picking up that language. The language in D, the discussion that we had was really just around kind of looking into the future and feeling like our team was able to identify, and I think they brought some examples to the table of some different scenarios where work might be reassigned in a way that maybe it had previously been assigned, or like to an admin or to somebody else. And so this really takes away any flexibility around making sure that those work assignments are efficient and all those different pieces. And I think you guys had an example of the, I believe it was like the McKinney-Vento work and some of the other work where there could be a shift in how that work is distributed or whatnot, not necessarily to anyone outside, but if that what had been with an admin and then maybe was being picked up by a classified employee but not intended to be so. Anyway, having that flexibility was really important. So that is why we did not pick up that language. And then with E, again, we're looking at that overall kind of impact and cost of contract, and this is yet another sort of paid meeting in there, and it's not required under House Bill 2016, so we are not picking up that language. We did pick up the language that you offered up as number 15 and put it in our proposal as 14, and picked up that language in full. I'll pause after 7 and see if there are any questions about 7.
Well, I guess we have none.
Okay. Moving into number 9. So we picked up your strikeout of demotion in there. We did not pick up the language kind of defining suspension without pay into those narrow parameters. We did not pick up the other definitions. Our team felt like with respect to termination, that was kind of self-explanatory, and the definition, as we were trying to pick it apart and maybe even try to rewrite it, we were like, okay, wait, that makes it more confusing. So we felt like the definition of termination was pretty self-explanatory, so we did not pick that language up, but we did pick up the last sentence regarding the purpose of the article to get the desired change at the lowest possible level. Then under the probationary period.
Before we move on, just let me ask a quick
yeah,
question about
absolutely.
that. So I guess I understand what you're saying with termination. I guess I'm lost on the piece about suspension. If I'm suspended, I'm away from work without pay, correct?
Yes.
So I'm confused why that would not work. I mean, termination, I can see different angles for that one, but I don't understand this one, why that would be a different, how that'd be controversial. I guess it was meant to be.
Well, I think it's just adding the days in there. Like, I mean, I don't know why it needs to be defined as for 1 day or 3 days. Yeah, so it was really like
Okay.
kind of boxing it in with the numbers.
That was the intent, and it predates you. I'm sure you've heard this a lot, Kim. Some things, you know, some things, I'm just being honest with you, some things, Dan said, 2 days, that was his favorite, 2 days, and then other things, it was 1 day, and it's just like, we just want to know if the point is to correct the behavior.
Right.
And we're agreeing to that last sentence, which is great, then it would make more sense that we would say, hey, look, you're at this point, we're gonna give you 1 day, and it's gonna be the same 1 day for everybody, you know, so we're not, you're getting 2 days, you're getting 1 day, you get something else. That was the intent. That's exactly why we wrote it that way, because of past experiences and having that problem specifically.
Yeah.
And I can have Ron or Vance speak to that if you guys want to about that, or did I get it?
You nailed it.
Thank you for that clarification. I think just in my experience with looking at those kinds of suspensions and the days that you would assign, it should be consistent. So
Yeah.
I appreciate that you're asking for that consistency. I think one way to get at that, if the district is being really inconsistent, would be that you could grieve those things and say, hey, wait,
Well, we
like,
did.
why is this person getting 1 and that
Yeah.
person's getting 3, and it's similar conduct? And that's kind of the corrective mechanism in there to, you know, because the district should be paying attention to that and not being all over the place with how they're assigning discipline, whether it's suspension or termination or whatnot.
Was it just arbitrary, like, or was it based on his personal preference, or, I'm just trying to get to
Do you
the,
want me to respond or do you?
Preference, mood, I don't know what you want to call it.
Well, he felt like 2 days. There's no 1-day suspension, but then we had a 1 day, like, and then we had, part of the problem here, I mean, also, as you're aware of just cause, you know, is the crime fitting the punishment, right? And so you'd have people who were getting 2 days than somebody who got a 1 day, which was a more, if you looked at it, it was a little more severe. So I don't know if they like that person or if it's just completely random. I mean, that's what we're trying to stop. We just
Yeah.
want to say, look, you suspend everybody for 1 day. I mean, what we're talking about is progressive discipline, because if they do it again, unless there's a 5-day or something in there, they're gone anyway, right? So we're really trying to correct the behavior with the lowest, you know. There was a couple cases where there was something that was severe enough that we agreed it had, I think we had put a 5-day in there too. We agreed that there was or maybe I didn't, maybe that's a different proposal. But we
Yeah.
put that in there because of the fact that, in that proposal, because sometimes there's some things that are really borderline, and so there might need to be more time away to really stress the point, right?
Yeah.
And it's more applicable to what they did,
Yeah.
right? So,
but something really egregious would usually lead to termination anyway, not a suspension.
usually,
Yeah.
yeah. But there was a couple
Something
that were just
like
close
hitting a
enough that
student,
we
or
have,
something.
you know, that we
Yeah.
did a week suspension because of what it was, and basically that was, next time was,
Right.
so.
I hear your interest in consistency, and I hear my team's interest in not necessarily having it be so prescriptive around that definition. And I would love to see, I mean, I not that I want them to bring grievances to you, but it feels like that's the alarm bell to ring if there is this inconsistency in terms of how suspension is being applied, or even bringing that up in labor management. But really, on behalf of the employee that's sitting right in front of you, it would be, hey, we're gonna grieve this because some other individual did the same thing and they got 1 day and you're getting 3. That's probably the sharpest tool to get this team's attention real quick of, oh, wait, we're not being consistent in that, rather than memorializing that into the contract like that.
Yeah, and I mean, some of the proposals you're seeing are because, you know, by far and away of the 11 chapters I work with regularly, we had the most grievances out here.
Right.
And so we really just want to have a manual to read, to be able to say this is what happens, right? There's always going to be things that deviate or whatnot. And the only flaw with your logic is if they're giving out 2 days, then they give a 1 day, are we going to file a grievance for the guy getting a 1 day? And what happened about the people over here, right? So it creates havoc. And that's kind of what went into our discussions, just for full transparency, why we're trying to say this is what it should be, so that way we know, right? So that's the idea. We'll give you a counter.
Okay,
Okay,
Yeah.
that
that's not
sounds,
the, and I think you know that I'm trying to work with you. You know, we just worked on a problem.
But how long will we be here, Kim?
We might be here all night, no.
That is a concern of ours, is with
Yeah.
turnover on
Yeah.
either side.
right,
Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
that it works, when you have the right leaders in place, everything is great, but those changes happen and
That's
then
true.
things look
Some
different.
people need a little more guidance than others,
Yeah.
and so
Yeah.
that's what we're trying to do here.
Okay, moving into number 2 for the probationary employee. We saw that your proposed change was to reduce that time down to 60 days. We are coming back, the existing language is 180, we are coming back with 150, and wanting to keep the language regarding excluding the scheduled break periods and leaves. Our team really we discussed a bunch of different numbers in there about what would give management enough time to really assess somebody, and they really felt like 150 days, where that lines up kind of with the school calendar and whatnot, that was the number that they could feel comfortable with, reducing the probationary period to. We are keeping the language about being able to terminate at any time during the probationary period. We understand that just cause is the standard, and so that's why we have added only for just cause as defined by law in there. So that way, you know, that is clear that even though they can terminate during that period, there is a just cause standard that applies to our probationary employees.
Okay.
We did not pick up the language in A below that is kind of the articulated standard for just cause. And it's not because we necessarily disagree with what you've put there. It's just that just cause is kind of a creature of case law. It's, you know,
Very much
urban
so.
opinions and all of that. And so rather than codify it in a contract where it becomes immovable, right? We think it's better to just say, hey, we're gonna follow just cause. And just know that, you know, those interpretations could change over
Right.
time for both of us, right?
Right.
As to what that means.
We appreciate the movement on the probationary.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's the law. It's the law. You'll find,
Well,
I do adhere to the law.
I meant the reduction of days.
Okay, oh, yeah, okay.
I wasn't questioning the other one.
Got it. And then, we did not pick up the language in number 5, regarding the effective date of discipline. We feel like extending like the effective date till the end of an appeal process, it just sort of puts a person in limbo and puts the district in limbo around that. That doesn't erase your right to appeal. Still got all of those rights. And certainly if on appeal there's a change, it's all going to be reflected in the record. But that just felt like it kind of created a bit of a limbo situation for folks. So
Okay.
that is what we have on 9. And then moving into 10, we've got a couple of changes in the top part. The removal of the word ultimate and the removal of the word specific. I think those were in the last proposal, so we've left those in. In the D2DI, the time limits. I know we talked about that without prejudice language at the table, and it still felt kind of confusing to me, reading it in there, and what did that mean? So we did not pick that up.
So
Under,
can I interrupt for a second?
yeah, absolutely.
So basically, we're just saying if we bring an issue over, you know, something and we miss the timeline, and then 6 months later we have that issue again, that we have the ability to still bring it. We're not
Yeah.
saying we don't. And if you guys are agreeable to that, we probably don't need it in
We
there.
are agreeable to
Then we
that.
don't-
So
we
like
don't
at
need
the
it.
table,
understand
we,
that.
in our caucus, we were like, we, that's the way we would treat it
Yeah.
anyway, that if a new instance happened, it wouldn't be time limited by the fact that you didn't bring the original
Right.
instance forward. And so we were like, so then this language just, it's so legalistic, it kind of becomes a little confusing.
Yeah,
I
we
think
probably
an
don't, we probably
example-
don't need it in there then.
Yeah, an
Yeah.
example we
Yeah.
used was like, say, an employee wasn't getting their breaks, and you had complained about that, and we fixed it, we changed the master schedule. Well, next year rolls around, and a new administrator comes in, changes the schedule again, and all of a sudden your person has had breaks again. We would expect you to come to us and say, hey, this isn't
Right.
right. And, you know, we wouldn't say, oh, we already fixed that. Well, yeah, we didn't, because it screwed up again. So we understand that that could resurface
Yeah.
if there was an issue like
Okay.
that.
Yeah, we probably don't need it in here then.
Okay. So then under 4, we had picked up your cross out, and we changed schools to the district office, and then picked up the cross out of the actual statutory language and added as defined by this contract, because that's really what defines it for us. Then under,
Sorry, before you move to 3,
yeah,
so I think we had crossed out not a legal holiday. I think we had legal crossed out just because, like, you give people Christmas Eve, which is not a legal holiday. So
Yes.
that's, I mean, obviously, nobody's here, so I wouldn't imagine we'd be
yeah,
counting
so
it,
that's
but,
why sorry, thank you for bringing me back to that.
Yeah.
So that is why we accepted your cross out of legal, right? And so any action which falls on a holiday as defined in the contract. Because the
Okay.
contract's gonna have all of the holidays that we have, that we are giving.
Okay.
Or, you know, that the parties have agreed to. So does that make sense?
yeah, it just down below it says legal again, that's the
Oh,
only
it
reason.
does?
Yeah, like the third from the bottom sentence, the
Oh, it
far
does.
right.
Oh,
You're
it
right.
does, you're
Yeah.
right.
On the far
So,
right.
good catch, we will clean that up. So, yeah, we would strike it there as as well.
Okay, I'm just making sure, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
thank
that's
you.
right, you
Yep.
crossed out 2 legals and we did not, so
Good catch.
thank
Okay.
you for catching that.
Yep. It's not like I make any mistakes.
In 3, we picked up your change of removing the language dismissal, demotion, and using the word discipline. We accepted your change of crossing out 12, but didn't go with 30. We felt like 15 days gave 2 full weeks for somebody to determine whether or not there's a groovable issue. 30 felt like it's like a lot of water under the bridge has passed. A whole month, people are trying to remember what even happened. I can't remember what happened yesterday. So tried to kind of find a compromise position on that, increasing the time. I know your interest was, we want time to figure out whether or not we have something that we need to bring.
We just want to bring all the evidence at once. 'cause
Right,
that could
right.
Theoretically could be settled right there, right?
Yeah,
So
and
the
and
hope,
we
yeah.
shared that interest. We
Yeah.
felt like increasing it to 15 would hopefully be helpful.
Yeah,
It is an
15
increase.
is 5 days longer than any of our other policy for complaint process. So if you look at like KL or harassment, all those are 10,
Mhm.
mostly 10.
I don't know.
And sometimes with a
No.
follow-up 5. It depends on how it's written, but.
Sure.
Yeah.
No, we'll take a look at that. Thank you.
Okay.
I'm noticing in the step 2(1), you had crossed out the word specific. We did not pick it up, but I don't think that we have a problem with that. Like, we probably meant to. It just
Yeah,
didn't
that's
get
a
picked
weird
up.
sentence.
Yeah, we just missed that one, so
Where's
that's
it-
fine.
Where's this at? Sorry.
This is
I.
2AI,
Oh,
specify
I hadn't got down
the
there yet. Yeah, okay.
specific action, and we are accepting of that cross out.
Thank you.
Then down under, to my next page.
The arbitration?
Arbitration. So we, under declaring the, moving to arbitration and notifying of the desire to go to arbitration, we felt like that 10-day notification period was important to keep it timely, but you'll see later, we have expanded the timelines to be able to secure the arbitrator and where to secure the arbitrator. So we still felt like it was important to, again, sort of not let things get stale or sit on them. And that's why we kept the language of the 10 days, but then under 4, for the selection of the arbitrator, we picked up your change for 30 days. Same with, and I'm noticing here that on the formatting, maybe what Marissa did was to go revert number 4 back to the original contract formatting. Is that?
Yeah.
Okay, so I think in your proposal, you had sort of broken it out into A, B, C, D, and E. In the original contract, it is all in one paragraph, so hopefully that's not too hard to track, but we did pick up your proposal of 30 days for going to ERB and the going to ERB over the state mediation for that piece. Believe that we picked up, and I'm not seeing, so in B, so this one also got dropped, sorry, in the sentence starting with upon receipt of the list, the party to strike the first name shall be determined, and you took out lot, and we were okay with that. We just didn't, it's not reflected, sorry. Is the coin toss language in the original agreement? So.
No, lot is in the original.
Okay, so coin toss would be a proposed new language? Okay.
Does anybody have a coin?
But it wasn't highlighted?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, it's probably
The
fine. We
coin's
could
on.
figure it out. I mean, the whole thing with lots is just that when I've had the experience that is that it's always like somebody holding in their hand, and it's like, it feels like, just feels a little like
Do we have a problem? with
otherworldly compared to
coin
what we
tosses?
do these
No,
days.
I don't
but-
see
I
a
didn't
problem
when I
with
read
it.
it.
No,
Okay.
coin toss is fine, we don't.
Yeah.
Coin toss is fine.
Or
It's,
we could
yeah,
even
sorry,
say-
the formatting is we're trying to like cross-check
Yeah.
the versions, so.
Sure.
So we're okay with striking lot and adding in your phrase, a coin toss.
Okay.
That whole phrase, sorry, a coin toss with the union calling it.
Here's your big moment, buddy. All right, got it.
Okay. Then under 5, so we kind of went back and forth around the change here, and again, I think there is, the formatting might be a little bit of the issue. The A in your proposal is the second sentence in the larger chunk, about the expenses of the arbitrator. And so at first we were like, hey, that's fine. The concept of whoever, doesn't prevail covering the cost, like we were not, we didn't have any heartburn over that. But then as we began to discuss it, and I was thinking about my experience with arbitrators, arbitrators love to split the baby. They love to, and that phrase is just like, they'll often try and give a little to you and a little to us. And so it's sometimes very unclear who won, who lost, or maybe it's clear that we both won and lost some on the issue. And so then it was like, oh, well, then who's the prevailing party? Who lost? And I think you used the losing party verbiage. We're like, well, who lost if there's sort of a tie or a split in terms of how the arbitrator goes about it? And that happens so often that we just reverted back to the original language, which is parties will share the cost equally. That makes the most sense so that we're not arguing over, well, did that decision favor their position, or did it favor our position, or where do you draw that line over who won and who lost in that we just didn't want to create another area for us to argue or fight about.
Okay.
And then, let's see, because I'm trying to track. So there was another specific that we didn't get crossed out in B, that you guys had crossed out in your 2 little I. So we'll pick that up.
Okay.
Violation of a specific, oh, well, that actually doesn't read correctly.
Where are we?
Sorry.
5B on.
Thank
5B.
you.
It's 5B on ours, it is 5E2 on theirs.
Thank you.
And I think actually the word specific is kind of needed to make that sentence make sense there, now that I'm looking at it. If the grievance is based upon a claim of a violation of a article versus
Or is it 10?
yeah, so we'll keep specific in that section.
Okay.
Okay, then in number 6, we picked up your cross out of May, but not,
I meant to put shall.
you meant to
in
put
there.
shall in
It
there?
was
Okay.
definitely
I was gonna say, it doesn't
supposed
make
to be
sense
there.
without something in there.
yeah, okay, so we're picking up shall.
Yep.
I'm like, wait a minute, what happened there? And then we picked up your cross out at the option and the and then we added some verbiage at the end of that sentence, so it would read, any aggrieved person shall be represented at all stages of the grievance procedure by themselves, and a representative selected or approved by the union, and we added in unless the aggrieved person declines representation. I mean, we're hopeful that they don't, that's why you're there, but we didn't want to take that agency away from an individual in that language. And then we, in A, which is actually the following sentence, we kept the original language, the union shall have the right to be present, and we accepted your cross out of 2. The union shall have the right to be present and state its view at all stages of the grievance procedure.
So are
Again,
you
we
s-
think that the
Oh, go
removal of that ties to the other language, to make sure that, like, if an employee was like declining union representation, then we want to respect that choice of the employee.
So Yeah, I would respectfully disagree with that, because if I want somebody in there when I'm being disciplined or not, I understand what you're saying. I don't want representation, that's fine. Once the grievance is filed, you know, legally, we are the exclusive representative, and we handle it from that point. It is our grievance, right?
Okay.
That's why that changes there, because I don't know if I really care about this, if they want to go in there and argue as long as we're in the room, because we have to maintain this grievance settled in the same way it's been settled for 5 other people, right? So we don't attach legal jeopardy by allowing something, or DFR by allowing something to be settled differently.
Yeah,
Inconsistent with the agreement, you know, so, or past grievances, so that's the only reason I'm changing this
Okay.
language. I promise you, it's not for any other reason, so, that's the only reason, because we've had it happen, so.
great. That's
Yeah.
really, really helpful. So
Yeah.
we can take that back and just have a quick discussion about that, and then
Caucus on that.
caucus on just that change, but.
I mean, if they want to present their case and stuff, I don't have a problem with that, you know?
Right.
It's more just that we need to be in the room so that we're
Yeah,
making
you
sure.
have an obligation
Yeah.
to
You
represent.
just try to be consistent.
Well, and,
Yeah.
you know, I'm dealing with an issue in another chapter with another rep where they did do it without us. And I don't know what deal they had, but clearly they got along well, because the deal they made was very inconsistent with the contract. And now everybody's going, what about me?
Right, yeah, that creates a lot of
So we're
chaos.
trying to unwind that mess, so I'm trying to
That
avoid
makes
that.
sense. All right,
this
we'll
language
take
has probably
that-
been
we'll
the
take
same
that
for-
back and have a
Yeah.
quick conversation about it, and that is helpful to have that
Yeah.
information about that particular one.
That was my only concern.
All
Question?
right,
Any other questions?
we have,
Okay, I think we're ready for 26.
yes.
I assume this means that you're ready to get rid of all this, right? That's why you just put it like that?
So we're coming back to retain all of the, of the language in that. I think our conversation about this was really kind of around, trying to understand what problem are we trying to solve with this, because there is non-contracting out, kind of, there is some language here, there are needs sometimes where things are, like, for example, transportation or other.
Since 1990.
Yeah, other kinds of things, so, we wanted to hear more about, like, what problem is this solving for us, like collectively, together, and where have you seen, or where are you concerned about things, so we could better understand that, maybe. So we're coming back with not accepting any of your language, but we wanted to give you an opportunity to maybe share with us some perspective around that, because those were the questions that came up for us in our caucus on this.
Well, let me give a little history to this language, too. So this came in the first contract in 2020, I think, when I was here. And where it came from is that there was a lot of talk back then, because they were dealing with Cisco and maybe food service, it wasn't explicitly stated, but there was just a lot of talk about maybe Cisco would take over all of the functions or Sodexo, sorry, not Cisco, that's a different group.
Sodexo, yeah,
Yeah,
Cisco's
Sodexo
the
would
big-
take over all the group, the full function, including the employees there, right?
Okay.
They
And
do
so,
that in some.
yeah, and so since then you guys have kicked them out, of course, but I mean, but that's where this came from, that's the lineage of this language, why it came into here. Most places, it just seems simpler just to say, hey, look, during the life of the agreement, which doesn't bar you from ever doing it, but it means that if we're gonna talk about it, we're not doing it mid-contract, we're doing it when the contract's open, so that both sides, because if something needs to happen that way, then maybe we have to do that for one reason or another, but we can make a gain over here, right? The idea is to keep it all, the bargaining kind of together in the same place, right? That's the idea behind it. That's why it's literally one sentence, it's just during the life of the agreement. And then when the agreement comes up for renewal, like any other article, we can have those discussions, right? That's the intent, and that's the history of this. So I think what we're trying to do is just, when we sign an agreement, especially if the district wants more than a year, which I suspect they do, we want to
Get
feel
into that.
comfortable, yeah. We want to feel comfortable that we're signing that with not having to be a year down the road for having this fight, right? That's part of it too, so. I hope that gives some context and history there.
Yeah, did you have any questions about that?
Well, I would never replace our own employees with, I would never do that. So, but again, you're questioning how long I will be here. Well, probably till I fall over dead at my desk, which won't be long. at
Hopefully
this
a long
rate.
time.
Yeah, it'll be about 2 more years. So I wasn't here when that happened.
Sure, yeah.
I can't, the profitability of having Sodexo over our own team. I mean, we paid a lot in profit to Sodexo.
Oh, I know.
We're never
Yeah.
gonna bring that back in unless we have
Right.
some weird thing happen where we can't manage it for some reason. And then we would come talk to you, but,
Right.
I don't foresee that ever happening. Our food service team does an exceptional job, and they, are very creative and very, attentive to our kids' needs. And, we prefer to keep that in-house and just keep making it better and better all the time for our employees and for the kids. And so, and Elise has done a great job, turning that program around. And us going away from Sodexo, I know this is a public meeting, but it's saved us a couple $100,000, so.
Absolutely.
We're less
That's why
in
Eugene
the
did it.
hole than we were, which was the whole reason we brought it back
Mm-hmm.
in-house. So I think you see my intent. And, I mean, transportation is not something the district could ever manage. It's just really complicated now, and,
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be really hard to ever bring it back in-house. The capital outlay for that would be really difficult. But-
Yeah, I understand. I mean, of course, it leads to the question, if you're never gonna do it, then why won't you agree to it, right? I mean, that's right, because we're kind of chasing each other around in a circle here,
Well,
but.
because in certain instances, and I know we're talking about large-scale contracts, like large-scale food.
We're talking about groups of
custodial,
employees, yeah.
Transportation, but like, sometimes when, like, if we put in a really complicated heating system, that Vance is like, oh my gosh, what is that, Kim? Then I would have to contract maybe somebody to come in and repair it if he didn't he wasn't trained in it or whatever. So, I mean, that's just an example of something that we might have to, bring a repair person in, but we already do that.
You have temporary language for that.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
do. We already do that. But I think we have these protections in place already. I don't see a reason to adjust the language.
Okay, understood.
Then the last one that we brought, you brought it up. We brought back the term of the agreement, and we have put in for hopefully a 3-year agreement. That's what we've adjusted in there, so.
Sure.
And we know that that's one that's gonna depend on a lot of other discussions that are gonna happen today, but that would be our hope.
Okay, understood. All right. How about a 10-minute break so everybody can run to the bathroom? Because it's going to take a
Yeah.
minute for our proposal. I'm just warning you right now.
I would love that. That is
Okay.
very kind and generous of
Breaks
you.
are good.
We discussed in Article 10, just the minor things that we missed, like the language pickups. Is it okay if I just add those into the electronic copies as I send them over to you?
Yeah, I prefer that, actually.
Okay. Awesome.
Thank you.
Break time.
All right. So, so these are down there? I think I gave them a while already. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so you want to start us off here, quarterback? Where are we going? No.
Oh, it's because they look, how they changed it. It's
Okay,
there. It's just, you're
We're
welcome.
going ahead and we're going to present Article 3. It's going to be Cornell, Tracy.
Can we actually pause? Our money person is not back yet.
He sat here through our whole break, and then he went to go to the bathroom. What's up with that?
That gives us a chance to look at this though.
Well, yeah, but that's the point. You're not supposed to look at it until we tell you about it.
Well,
Sorry.
I'll flip it over.
Well,
I'll bury the
we want to
lead.
give you the context, not just
That's a
the
teacher
script.
trick, man. You don't give them the handout until you want them to look at it. 'cause then
They
they-
thought
I
they
asked if
wanted
we
us
were
to.
ready.
I know.
I asked
I'm
if we were
sorry.
ready.
I apologize.
That's all right.
I just want to make sure that the person who has.
Yeah, right? So that was a tactic, kind of, to get him to run to the bathroom so you could look at
Was
it.
not a.
Totally told us to do that,
Right.
yes.
Erase it to make sure that two.
I didn't even realize he wasn't here.
He was here through our whole break, so I figured he was good.
Because I'm really, I'm.
Well, hey, Daniel, can you put us on pause till Tom comes back?
I'll text him.
Okay.
He might have his phone over there. I think he's coming. Oh, there he is.
Oh, there's Tom.
Stare at him.
Never mind.
Money back.
He's coming.
Gotta talk to him about following direction, let me tell you. Didn't even get a rise up.
No, I don't.
No.
He's
No.
not easily excited.
Oh, okay. Well, that's no fun. All right.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, now we're assembled.
We're all here.
Okay, we are gonna be presenting Article 3. Is gonna be Candace, Tammy, and Renell presenting it for us.
All right, so I'm gonna jump right in. Article 3, compensation. We believe we've adjusted the positions for the preschool, the ELL, the title, and the LRC Instructional Assistant 1 to the Instructional Assistant 2 position, and the compensation to column I. We've adjusted these positions to these title and compensation columns because of responsibilities that exceed the duties and responsibilities of the positions that they are currently in. We deserve higher job classifications and higher compensation for these positions. Preschool assistants deserve to be placed into the higher job classification because these positions require specialized knowledge, targeted training, and the ability to support students with diverse academic, language, and learning needs. Preschool assistants need over 250 hours of training in early childhood education for the position required for the Preschool Promise program and continuing early childhood education training, sometimes on weekends, annually. We clean bathroom accidents, including vomit, blood, and mucus. In fact, I cleaned a bloody nose today. We administer medications. We have English as second language students. We have special needs students, including students with autism and with severe trauma history. We have students with one-on-one needs, students who need diaper changes, students who need hygiene assistance, including washing faces, hands, toilet training, and wiping. We have students with behavior management issues, including hitting, biting, throwing, and elopement. In fact, I was personally bitten twice last week, and we had 2 students to attempt to elope several times just yesterday. One managed to get approximately 6 feet past the door before we were able to catch him and secure him safely. Most of our students have not been assessed for special education needs yet, including screening for things such as speech impediments, learning disabilities, behavioral issues. It is part of our responsibility to ensure that they are assessed for these before kindergarten when possible so they can have appropriate services in place. Preschool assistances in surrounding districts, are instructional assistant 2s and are paid a rate comparable to what we are requesting. We feel we deserve the same. I'm going to turn it over to Tammy to discuss why ELL, title, and LRC instructional assistants deserve to be placed in a higher job classification as well.
ELL, title, and LRC instructional assistants play a deeply and meaningful role in the lives of students, and their impact reaches far beyond what would ever be considered entry-level work. These positions call for compassion, patience, and a strong foundation of specialized knowledge, along with targeted training to support students with diverse academic, language, and learning needs. Every day, these instructional assistants build connections with students, offering not just academic support, but encouragement and stability. They work side by side with teachers and specialists, helping implement interventions and adapt instruction so that each student has a genuine opportunity to succeed. Their work requires a thoughtful understanding of instructional strategies, program expectations, and individualized student plans, often adjusting in real time to meet students where they are. Given the level of care, expertise, and responsibility these roles demand, it's clear they are integral to student growth and success. A higher job classification would more accurately honor both the complexity of their work and the meaningful difference they make in students' lives every single day. And I'll hand it over to Renell.
I have handouts. Well, so, that's right.
She's got a system, I
I
think.
made it complicated.
She's in charge.
That's all right.
Objected or held.
Thank you.
Okay, so I have, everyone gets one of these, and then I've got a couple of, job descriptions for share.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you.
We can share. We can share.
I've got two of those. Yes, you did. There you go.
Thank you.
Okay, did everyone get one?
I don't have, well, maybe I do.
I think if,
It's
yeah.
all in there for you.
Oh, yeah, I got it, yeah, I just didn't see this one.
Job description? I didn't get a job description. We can share. I think.
Okay, so I'm just going to be talking about Instructional Assistance 2 in the Basic Skills Classroom, Structured Learning Program, Functional Skills Classroom, Community Transition Program, and One-on-One Support deserve to be classified as Instructional Assistance 3 with a compensation moving over to column 0. Or, oh, not 0. I knew I'd do that. Anyway, so why reclassify IA2s to IA3s? Imagine with me for a moment that your child is back in the classroom. I don't know about you, but what I wouldn't give to have my kids back in the classroom for even just a few hours. When they were young and so eager to learn, they were bright-eyed, and at the end of the day, they couldn't wait to give me a hug and tell me about their day at school. Only this time, your child is in a different classroom. Your child is medically fragile with a seizure disorder. You're relying on trained professionals to take care of your precious nonverbal child. These professionals are currently classified as IA2s. There's a degree of trust and vulnerability in relying on someone else to provide your baby with care in life and death scenarios. For example, seizures, and the potential choking or aspiration hazards with eating and drinking liquids. How comforting would it be to have your kids return each year to IA2s that know your child and their needs? They're well trained and you're confident in their ability to ensure your child's well-being while here at school. Now imagine how you might feel if the very people you rely on have such a high turnover rate that you see new IA2s with your child more than once a year on average. People that must be trained from the ground up on everything, dealing with bodily fluids, delicate positional transfers, following feeding protocols, working with physically aggressive behaviors, following safety protocols, following specific medical protocols, doing nursing care oftentimes in buildings without a nurse present, and toilet training students that are able, just to name a few. So this turnover brings on yet another change in their care team and relationships, and another point of stress for you and your child in navigating that change. So why should we reclassify IA2s to IA3s? Well, let's start with some background on another position called Special Needs Program Support Specialist. Let's call them Special Needs Specialists for the rest of this talk. The special needs specialists are currently in salary range O, while IA2s are in range I. I'd like to share a few things that differ in these two job descriptions and talk about the 9 differences in the special needs specialist job duties list. I have supplied you with a detailed printout of these and the explanations. So special needs specialists, on that list where the green and the yellow boxes are on the left, special needs specialists, numbers 1 and 6 on the list, pertain to facilitating and providing classified staff trainings. We have actually not had these trainings in the last couple of years. Item 2 relates to developing, monitoring progress, and testing of student performance. IA2s also have this in our job list, with a very small difference in phrasing to be more centralized to the school that we work in. Item 3 describes the special needs specialist substituting for program assistants as needed. We, the IA2s, have been shifted into other programs to sub for the last 3 years. Item 4 on the special needs specialist list is very similar to item 3 on the IA2 list, and you can read that one. Item 5 on their list and item 4 on the IA2 list are also very similar in responsibility with slightly different verbiage. Number 7 speaks to providing support for teachers and administrators when students transition between special education placements. We, the IA2s, have been moved temporarily to a new program with the student that is moving programs to help train the staff and transition the student into the new program. This is not in our job description. Item 8 is about training new staff members or current staff members that change assignments. The IA2s in our programs have been doing the training for many years, oftentimes without special needs specialists' involvement. And then number 9 in the special needs specialist duty list is actually the responsibility of our IA2s. This pertains to supporting students with feeding, personal hygiene, and following protocols related to medical, health, IEP, and other protocols. This particular item is not in the IA2 list of duties. Both positions have number 18 on their list. However, this is a responsibility that only our IA2s do every workday. Our special needs specialists cannot train in this way for each and every student around the district. Therefore, when they come into many programs, they are unable to perform these duties. I can provide more information if you would like. So all this just to say that when comparing the two positions' job descriptions, some of the job duties described in the special needs specialist position have become commonplace in the daily duties of IA2s without them being added to our job duties. This causes us to work outside of our job description. In recent years, the needs and behaviors of students being served in our highly impacted and medically fragile population have increased exponentially and require a much higher level of care. Our IA2s and special needs specialists are working in situations that require a flexible mindset, a quick response, and an ability to make decisions without direction from a supervisor. Both positions are vital to the district and are comparable in duties. As IA2 staff members, we are on the front lines working with the most vulnerable students. IA2s are responsible for fostering inclusion, providing safety, and helping to teach compassion and dispel fear through positive interactions with our wonderful people with disabilities and neurodivergent students. Because of our skill set and job duties, IA2's compensation needs to be in line with the special needs specialist role. Our work is equally demanding and important. Our roles present the same number of challenges and specialized knowledge. When one of the special needs specialists steps into a role in one of our classrooms, there's much they can't do because they don't have the required training to provide that support to our medically fragile students. Where toileting is happening, they can't be the ones doing the cleaning. If students are having seizures, they can't administer medication. They cannot feed students with feeding protocols. If they are asked to come into one of the classrooms, they do not know the specifics about what triggers our students or how to work with each one. This is because they do not have consistent relationships with these students. These two positions have many items that overlap. However, both positions have duties that are independent of one another. Silver Falls School District, IA2s specialize in the field we are working in. We are trained to support students with specialized equipment and receive specialized training, such as MANT, seizure training and training in how to administer medication via nasal or rectal route, protocols for feeding students consisting of various methods for G-tube feeding, food preparation, and systems to limit the risks of choking and aspiration, lifting and transfers, medical equipment training, personal care training such as toileting, G-tube feedings, urostomy bags, feminine care and applying creams for a variety of reasons, communication systems such as PECS, OGCOM, and visual technology programs, behavior support system development, tracking, and implementation. We are doing jobs that many others can't or won't do. We use our bodies to protect each student, ourselves, or other students. We are at greater risk for arthritis and other bodily damage due to the strain we put our bodies through. These scenarios are not specific to aggressive behaviors, but also students who do not understand the potential harm and attempt to run into parking lots, streets, or other dangerous areas. In recent years, we have had a heavy and consistent turnover in our special ed classrooms. Departing staff have said a big part of the reason that they are leaving is due to a lack of adequate compensation for the duties that IA2s are asked to perform. This turnover has created chaos in our SPED department, which lowers the morale of staff. In addition to the stress the turnover creates for staff, this turnover is also stressful for our students, which is not beneficial for them. We have a dynamic program at Silver Falls School District and staff that want to continue to serve the students in this community. Earlier, I asked you to imagine yourself as a parent to a medically fragile child with a seizure disorder. How much would it mean to you to have your child in a district that gives you peace of mind because it prioritizes attracting talented people that want to stay? Sorry. We, the IA2s, deserve to be reclassified to IA3s and our wages to be fair, equitable, and reflect the value that we bring to Silver Falls School District. Because of our specialized training and work, we deserve to be on the same step as our special needs program support specialists. Our Silver Falls School District mission statement is to ensure every student thrives in a safe, supportive, and engaging learning environment. Reclassifying IA2s to IA3s supports the values that our mission statement speaks to. Safety, support, and a learning environment will be more likely to be achieved by having consistent, experienced, and well-trained IA3s working with our students in our special education programs. So now I'm going to pass it back over to Tammy, and she'll talk to you about media.
Okay. So, the media assistant, we want to change the title. Actually, it's gonna be a little different than what's on your, printed. We want to change the library media assistant to library media support specialist. And we want to change the compensation from G to N. And I think I'm going to reserve my actual speaking and my handouts to the end of our discussion because that's what I was asked to do. So then we're going to go back to Renelle.
Okay, so I'm going to talk about adding steps 9 through 15.
Page 2.
Yes.
Yeah, I see.
Page 2. So expanding the number of salary steps recognizes experience, improves retention, maintains competitiveness with surrounding districts, and provides a fair and sustainable compensation structure for long-term employees. Moving over to Candace.
All right. Okay, so in addition, we would also like to, where are we? Okay, so there. So many of our classified staff have been frozen at step 8, only receiving the cost of living raises while continuing to stay with the district for years. They deserve to be put on the appropriate step for their years with the district. As put forward by our former labor manager, Tony Rosales, why don't we have more steps? And we agree with him. We deserve more steps. And our staff should have been moving up those steps, not stagnant at step 8. In addition, over the years, the 4% between the steps have shifted. Reindexing corrects that back to the 4%, so it's a pretty minor change. Also, we feel that we deserve a 10% COLA to weather the current economic situation. As you know, we are here for the students. However, we still have to pay our bills, put a roof over our heads, put groceries on our tables, and fuel in our gas tanks. We work hard in each of our positions to ensure that every student thrives in our district. And we deserve to be able to live on our wages without needing to take second jobs, which many of our classified staffs have done. I'm going to turn over to Tammy again to discuss the Section 8 longevity stipend.
Actually, it's number 10.
Oh, sorry.
Move to number 10, longevity stipend. A numbering is just removed, the A is removed for formatting. And updating longevity stipends shows appreciation for loyalty to staff for staying with the district, especially during this time of frequent job hopping. This fixes the problem with employees not feeling appreciated for the years of service with the district.
Somehow we skipped the differential. Okay, so it seems that we skipped a Section 7 differential. Seems pretty self-explanatory, so I think we will.
Well, we talked about that some of the things they could read.
Yeah.
And then we would discuss.
Yeah, so I think if you've
important.
got questions on that, you can bring those forward.
And then I guess we're gonna move on to professional leave, number 15.
So just pausing, so you, your proposal removes the word bilingual from the differential, and then it looks like it's expanding the kinds of added experience that
Yes.
might
Yes.
get a differential.
It adds different.
Okay.
Adds other
Okay.
differentials.
Do you know how many employees have these certifications?
Unsure. Any clue?
Oh, man.
Not a fan.
Yeah.
Okay.
We would have to
No,
get
not a
back to
fan.
you on
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Not this
Okay.
moment.
All right, thank you.
And then I guess we could cover, we did add a split pay protection on number 13. Employees who regularly perform work in 2 or more positions with differing pay rates shall be paid only one rate for all work performed. That pay rate shall be the highest rate to which they are entitled of all positions that they are assigned. And then there was some professional leave. We care deeply about doing our jobs well, and part of the commitment means continuing to learn and grow in ways that directly support the students and communities we serve. That's why it feels important to recognize that when we pursue professional development, especially when it fills the gaps the district has not addressed, we are investing not only in ourselves, but in the quality of support we provide every day. For example, over the last 4 years in the LMA job classification, there have been no district-sponsored professional development opportunities specifically tailored for library media assistants. Meanwhile, other roles are given access to training that aligns with their responsibilities and district goals, and they are compensated for that time. On district professional development days, library media assistants often continue their regular duties rather than being given the opportunity to engage in meaningful job-specific learning. When we take the initiative to seek out relevant training like library conferences, we do so because we care about growing in our roles and better serving our schools. While the professional development pool may help with registration or lodging and mileage, it can be disheartening to lose wages in order to gain knowledge that directly benefits our work and strengthens district services. This also can apply to assistants working in the preschool who deserve access to meaningful, supportive professional growth. Sometimes searching out classes or conferences, it happens on evenings or weekends, and so it would be nice to be compensated for attending those conferences or trainings. Providing paid professional leave for job-related training would be a meaningful step toward equity. It would acknowledge the dedication employees bring to their roles, ensure everyone has fair access to development opportunities, and ultimately strengthen the support we are able to offer students every day.
Can I ask a follow-up question about professional leave? So we just approved professional leave for an IA today who's in a teacher program because they're gonna have to do their teacher practicum in the fall. So what would you do in a situation like that where you have someone that is actually going on professional leave because it's part of their progress towards a teaching license? What do you do with somebody like that under this clause.
So when you say, what do you do, I mean, I
I
think
mean,
we're
how
asking.
would that impact that employee? Like, I just approved that, but, I mean, would it be paid in this particular instance when somebody's gone like a whole term? It's like 10 weeks.
Yeah, and I think there's some, I think with the specifics of your program, there's like grow your own money that I think still coming for now, right? You know,
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, so I think some of that might be covered by that, but I think the idea here is that, you know, yeah, some of it could be paid time, but I think we're really trying to hone in on making sure we have the ability to have access to this kind of training. That's really, I feel that's a bigger piece of what we're asking for.
Okay, I'm all about the training, but when
Yeah.
someone's out for a long amount of time like that, I just wanted to be clear about how that lies within this.
Yeah, no, I understand
Because
that.
this is new language, correct?
This is new
Yes.
language. yeah.
And you know, there was one thing that, I mean, like, if I go to a training and it ends up being on a Saturday, it would be nice to be able to, you know, flex that time when we have a professional development day, and I was told that I wasn't able to do that. And so if I go out of my way to go get the training to become a better person and provide a better service for the district, it would be nice to be able to be compensated even in that way too. I mean, or that way.
And I think, I mean, kind of going back to your original question, this is really focused around the classes and making sure you're paid for the time you're at the classes and being able to have the classes paid. It's really mostly talking about that. So I don't think we're talking about necessarily paying them, you know, if they're off for 3 months doing some project. I mean, I guess there could be a scenario where that could happen, but I'm having trouble figuring it out because like what you're talking about is usually through other things, whether they're going to be a teacher, there's different programs for that and different funding for that usually. So, but we really are, you know, talking about paying for it, like she said, if it's on a Saturday. The answer's been no, versus pay me for that or let me flex that, you know, in the past. So we're really trying to capture that any opportunity we can to improve, to be more valuable to the school.
Has that been staff being denied their access to their PD funds to do after hours PD, or is it?
You're talking
we
about the
can't
other
time
article
card
for
you?
tuition
You can't
reimbursement and
time
stuff?
card
Yeah.
outside
Yeah.
your work hours.
Yeah,
Okay.
so.
And no, we haven't ever, I mean, I believe that they're being very efficient at not being denied use of the professional development pool.
So whether it would cover some of this, I think is part of the
I just
question
don't think
too.
that professional development pool is allowed to compensate you
Correct.
for hours.
Correct.
It's only for providing
Yeah, the cost of the
the
program.
cost of the
offering,
program,
whatever.
the lodging or mileage, or even meals. I don't know for sure. I never. planned
I
the
believe it's
meals.
just the
But-
the cost of the tuition or the fees associated with the program that you're studying or whatever it is, so, but we'd have to look at it, but yeah, this is meant to cover some gaps in that program. Right.
So like, I just want to understand, if you're taking, say you're taking a semester-long course and you have class every Tuesday, Thursday from 6 to 8, but you wanted the compensation for the 6 to 8 time?
No, you're talking about, I would work my normal day and then I would go to school and
Yeah.
we're not talking about that. We're talking about like Tammy's example where they only offer this particular training on a Saturday and we want to attend that training and the answer's been no because it's outside of your work hours. Well, this is something that it's not like every Tuesday and Thursday.
So it's
for
like a
quarter.
one-off.
It's a
Yeah.
specialized
Specialized,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
Can I just specify for the record, because I think this is really important, not that, I think it's really important to specify that if we are sending somebody to a training, we are paying them. This is just for optional trainings, which I don't think that, I'm not saying that this professional development is completely optional. I think that professional development is really important, and I think that what you're saying is very important. I just want to make sure that for the record, if we're sending somebody to a training on a Saturday, we are paying them.
Yeah, correct.
That have
So-
been nice to know because I've gone to trainings on Saturdays that have been required by Preschool Promise and not been paid.
So
hence
have
part of
you
our concern, right?
Reported that to some?
I didn't know I was supposed to have been paid.
Who was sending you to these trainings?
Well, the Preschool Promise program is requiring them, and so we go.
Yeah, that's kind of an unusual situation because you're under the grant, so Preschool Promise is
Yes,
a grant.
it's-
And it's
sort of a tough situation.
Yeah, it's
'cause
kind of a weird area.
we're both under Silver Falls and Preschool Promise, so.
But,
Right, yeah, but you're funded by that.
but if
Grant.
you're going to a required training, you should be time carding, just.
Yeah,
I
because
was
regardless
not
of
aware
which,
that you were
the
going to those.
Yeah,
complaint would
it's-
go against them, so they have no interest in you
Yeah,
not
we
being
have
paid
no
either.
idea
Yeah.
you're doing that,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, so it's like we don't know when we're, you know, so it's complicated, I guess.
Sounds like it, yeah.
How do you get notified of these trainings?
Through Preschool Promise.
Like just an email or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
Next time they do that,
Send
I
it.
would send it to
Send it
KJ.
on? Okay.
Yeah, and send it
Yeah.
up the chain and say,
Okay.
hey, they're asking us to come to this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Will
Because
do.
you should, if it's required, now, if you wanted to go, take a surfing class, you know, wanted us to pay for that, like that, I'm like, nah. But like, if it's something that we say, hey, could you go to an early literacy class on Saturday at PDX Reading? I'm gonna pay you for that. I would never ask you to do that without paying you.
Okay,
Especially if I thought it was important to your work.
great.
Are there other instances this is coming up besides the
Yeah, is there
preschool
others?
Yeah.
promise?
I just know that I know that I tried to talk about, if you go to a 3-day conference and it happens to be on a Saturday, and I asked if I could be paid for that day, because it's actually, you know, I'm going an extra day in my work week. Why couldn't I take the next professional development day off in lieu of that? But you're telling me that it's not a required training, so that's how.
Yeah, if your principal is
That's how-
sending you to something, you should be.
But see, I'm the one asking to go.
Yes. And that's where,
So-
like, the language that you're putting in is making a lot of sense
Yeah.
to the request that you're making. That's also what I wanted to say, is like, what you're asking makes a lot of sense, but I wanted to make sure that people saw the nuances as well, not that we're just not paying people to go to training.
Right. Okay.
I like what you're suggesting for, because I've seen your instance you've gone to this conference
Three
years now?
years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have seen that, yes, so.
Yeah.
And there's no doubt it makes her more valuable for the district too, so that's
I would agree.
kind of the other piece of this that we're trying to address.
And in some of
Sure.
the specialty groups, it's hard to find a PD that's appropriate for what you're
Yeah.
doing through.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, when we plan in-service PD, sometimes it doesn't work good
Right.
for specialist categories.
Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah.
All right, should we move on to 4?
Okay, we got it.
Okay.
Okay, we're gonna go Article 4,
Insurance?
insurance, and Meg is gonna be presenting now.
Okay. So, as cost of living, for example, gas, groceries, and insurance are increasing yearly, there's a need for some increases to happen in the 2026-27 per year for all employees' insurance benefits to reflect those increases. The paperwork that has been handed to you shows increases in all areas, full-time and part-time employees. I don't have to list that, you guys can kind of review it and see what you think. And then also too, I have added a number 10 to the article, which covers an insurance pool that would be established by the district, but very beneficial to all employees in the district. And it's just kind of verbiage on what an insurance pool is, if you guys want to just kind of review it and see what you think. But that's kind of basic on the insurance issues, just percentages increases, dollar amounts increasing, and we can just banter back and forth in regards to that.
And it's still reflecting a 1-year contract, because that's still where we're at the moment, so.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, okay.
What are we at now for insurance? Is it 17?
1725.
1725.
50, 25,
It's 1725.
25.
I think you're right.
1725,
Yeah, it's
I
actually
don't know why I
higher
have
than
50 in my brain.
It's been for 2 years.
Any questions? Okay.
Yeah, we'll probably have to dig through
Okay,
that.
You have to review
Yeah,
it
that's
all.
a digger, yeah.
It's gonna take a second.
I circled things, but.
Okay,
Okay. So I'm gonna,
sorry. We're gonna be presenting Article 16, this will be Candace.
Okay, so, Article 16, vacations. All union members deserve vacation time. We deserve prorated paid vacation for less than 12-month employees because the current system leaves a significant gap in equitable benefits. Right now, these employees work full-time schedules during the school year, often in high-demand roles, but receive no true vacation benefit. Scheduled school breaks are not the same as vacation. They're fixed and unpaid. Don't give employees the flexibility to take off time when they actually need it. As I'm sure you know, most school breaks are at or near the same time, making the cost of flights and specialty destinations higher. We deserve to be able to take vacation during times that are not limited to typical school breaks. This is about fairness and consistency. If an employee works 10 or 11 months of the year, they should receive a proportional share of the same benefit that 12-month employees receive. This is a standard practice in many industries and districts and aligns with benefits with time worked. For example, Dallas School District has this benefit in their contract. It is also a workforce issue. Districts are struggling with recruitment and retention in classified positions. Providing even modest prorated vacation improves job quality, reduces burnout, and helps retain experienced staff, saving the district money over time. We are not proposing a full 12-month benefit for less than 12 employees. We are proposing a reasonable, prorated system that reflects actual work schedules and maintains operational flexibility. At its core, this is a straightforward equity issue. Employees who contribute a substantial portion of the year should have access to a proportional level of paid time off. Thank you.
Any questions?
It'll probably be a minute to review that too.
Well, yeah, I imagine we're gonna need to take this back into
Yeah.
this,
Yeah.
and we'll probably come back with questions before we'll come
Yeah.
back.
Okay.
Yeah, we figured. It's a lot to absorb.
It's a lot.
So can I ask one question?
Yeah.
So previously was it just for 12-month employees or was it for, it was just for 12?
Just 12.
It's just
Just 12.
Just 12.
Okay. Yeah, I see it, yeah. I just wasn't sure if,
Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and be presenting Article 17, holidays. We're bringing the holidays to one level for all classified with the paid holiday schedule, and they're clarifying how holiday time is accounted for.
And just for a little bit of history on this, so for some reason out here, and it's very different than your or my experience in Dallas, right? They've kind of had these different groups getting different holidays, but usually, like, the people that work around the holidays that are in place, in my experience, in a lot of areas, get those holidays. If you work around Christmas and both sides of it, you get it. Whereas like your 10-monthers, if they don't work past Juneteenth, may not get that, right? Or they may not get
Right.
4th of July, or 11-monthers may not get 4th of July. So it's just been a little different here, and so we're trying to correct some of that, like Ron said, trying to like put it at that level where everybody gets the holidays that they're here for. So that's the intent. In fact, it might even be easier to follow that Dallas model and make one list instead of 3, and just put an asterisk next to the ones that fall outside of a work schedule, right?
but yeah, because some of these licenses don't have.
Well, that's okay. We don't represent them, so.
Well, you kind of support
They also
them
make
in
more
their-
than us. Come on,
in
Kim.
their
They make a lot
costs.
more. These holidays mean more to us.
Right now, yeah. Indigenous Peoples' Day, I don't think any of us have that off, including me.
As far as I know,
And I'm
there's
actually
3
indigenous.
places in the state that have that.
Yes.
So it's not as common. I suspect you'll have some counters for us that maybe not include a few of these holidays, but
I'm a big fan of Indigenous Peoples' Day.
hey, I've bargained it in 3 places. Nobody else has. So I'm a big fan too.
Okay,
All right.
so we have our work cut out for us.
Yeah, we'll be back in 10 hours.
Yeah.
Figured we'd just give you a little extra work. We got one more thing
Yeah, I was
though,
gonna
just
say,
before we,
there's
all the
the-
part, yep, the 1 pager.
The one pager.
And we'll go to Vance for that.
You know, throughout the year, we've provided the evidence and feedback through some surveys that the district has sent out with comparables for these positions. We still believe they justify correcting the salary placement. You have the list of 4 in front of you. I'm going to speak to mine. I think Lisa's going to speak to hers. The other 2, you heard from Tammy earlier, and the athletic secretaries at a game tonight. So, the HVAC scope of duties over the years have increased. When I was hired, I was told that the boiler work and chiller work would still be contracted out with the hopes of moving it in-house. That hopes has happened, right? Most of that's done by myself. I'd say 99% of it is done by myself. The duties now include the servicing and repairing of those boilers and chiller at 4 different schools. They require a higher technical nature with increased safety and responsibility levels. Doing the boiler work requires a state licensure, which I hold, which allows me to perform that work. Addition to those duties, you know, at 7 of our schools, we have propane furnaces. The school district is required to have a company license to work on those. I currently hold that company representative license for the district. I also have to hold my own personal license to work on those systems. Those are both through the Oregon State Fire Marshal program. So I just want to make sure you guys are aware that, you know, there's more to it than just doing functions of changing air filters and cleanings. Okay. Lisa?
So I recently was reclassified in my facility coordinating position from an in, to an in, and but I did request that I be to an O, and it was denied. So why I'm here today is that I want to feel valued and recognized as a district level position. When I look at the wage scales, I don't see any district level position below an O. And then I ask myself, well, why? Why would I be lower than that? Or what does a district level position do? Well, I work independently. I am self-directed. Since my position was changed to an Office 2, I really have not had a directed supervisor. I've done it on my own. I make decisions, independent judgment, decision-making, and problem-solving daily. I make last-minute decisions. Example of that is the school doesn't put something on the calendar. They have something scheduled, and guess what? I have to move my community user because they have it scheduled. Happens all the time. And when I make a decision, I have to justify my decision. I get calls. I have to have the ability to communicate effectively to the public, district personnel, using tact, courtesy, and good judgment. I have to have the ability to respond sensitively to inquiries, complaints, and conflicts from community users and staff. I do this all the time. My responsibility, example of what I do for that is the other day, at 8:45 at night, I get a phone call from a community user that they misjudged the time that they needed on the lights. So I have to go in and fix that for them. If a custodian doesn't show up when a facility needs to be unlocked, guess who gets the call? And that's on a weekend, that's on the evening. I have to make sure that they're taken care of. So that is basically why I feel like I should be at a district level position and comparable to other district level positions. I just want to be recognized, and I want to be compensated just like everybody else is in those positions.
And since our athletic director, our athletic person is gone at a game tonight, you set those meetings like I did, and I think we went a long way to getting her part of the way there. And I think even Tony made a comment that we should readdress it here in bargaining, because we did make some good movement there and whatnot, but we still felt it was a little lacking overall. But you have all that same information. You've set in those meetings like I did, Kim, so you have all this information. I didn't want to hand it to you a second time. You know, you already have it. So, and we're moving her just slightly up. I think that gets it pretty close to where everybody, us and the person feel that it should be about right. You know, so that's the slight alteration here. And then I'm gonna turn it to Tammy to bring us home here.
Okay. So,
Yes.
Well, it says move her from column S to column R, wouldn't
I
that
think
be
you
lower?
flip that flip
Is it backwards?
No, actually, the MOU,
I asked this
pay
question too.
column S
Yeah.
is lower than pay column R.
Yeah,
Really?
Yes.
yeah,
Alrighty then.
Yeah.
yeah, sorry about
I
that.
asked that question too,
That
because I was like,
seems
did I get
weird.
that
I was
wrong?
like, maybe we should fix
Column
that.
S
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
Yeah.
a specific calculation for it, and I don't have it right in front of me, but.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right,
Weird, okay, that's
I
weird.
made a note.
Thanks.
No problem. I had the same question. So,
Yeah. Just like how it normally works.
right.
all right, so, since the certified librarian position was eliminated at the elementary level approximately 5 years ago, the role of the library media assistant has evolved in significant and meaningful ways. What was once a support position has grown into one that now carries the full responsibility of managing each school's library program. On a daily basis, we are not only welcoming students into the library, but we are also guiding full classes during specials, helping foster a love of reading and learning. Behind the scenes, we carefully evaluate and build our collections, select and order materials that reflect our students' needs, and ensure everything is cataloged and accessible. We manage MARC records, maintain the organization of the space, and keep the library running smoothly as a central hub of the school community. These responsibilities closely mirror those that were once a part of the certified role, at a time when libraries were staffed by both a certified librarian and a library media assistant. The workload and expectations were shared. Today, that full scope rests with a single position. With this in mind, we hope to highlight not only the expansion of duties, but the level of care, expertise, and commitment now required to sustain these programs. And an updated title and compensation would more accurately reflect the work being done and the vital role school libraries continue to play in supporting students, staff, and the broader learning environment. So I have this binder. I got a little crafty, guys, so I hope you enjoy my ladybugs. But this is a little binder. I didn't print one for everyone, so I thought hopefully I'm gonna give it to Kim, and then you guys can go over it and share it. So what I did in the first section is kind of take the parts of the certified position that I'm doing now currently, not just me. I mean, all of the LMAs are doing this. It's not just me, by the way. And then the next one, it has both of the old, so that you can see where I pulled things from. And then also I have in here a comparison of compensation from a lot of different districts. And what I'm hoping to do is something, I really like the title of Library Media Support Specialist, but Salem Kaiser also adopted this change in September of 25. And so not too long ago, and they did a very similar thing where they're no longer having certified librarians. And so the assistants are no longer assistants, they're actually running the program. I mean, obviously not doing everything on the certified role, but there's definitely a lot of things on there that we do. And then, so I put those job descriptions in here for you too, from Sam LeKaiser. And then in the last one, there's also a lot of other places that are gonna be listed on the compensation schedule that I made, just for added history and, you know, just so that you know that, hey, this is what's going on. These are the kind of titles, this is the kind of range. And definitely, I'm not trying to hit the Salem Kaiser range or anything, but if you look at it, it's very similar across the board in that range, to be at a level N. And then I also wanted to share, this is my pride and joy, because listen, I love library. I was a library kid, and I strive to go above and beyond for these kids, and so does every single LMA out there. We go to trainings, we go online, we do free things, we are on library boards, we are doing OBOB, we're doing all different kinds of activities to support our kids. And this is one thing that has really been a highlight of my years, is doing Love Your Library Month in February. And what we do is we have the kids do hearts of what they love about the library. And then they get to post them anywhere. You know, it could be, I love Dogman, or I love Wings of Fire, or whatever. But I want you guys to just, you know, if you have a few minutes, please take a look at this, because the kids seriously love library. Please don't forget that we are supporting literacy in our library programs every single day. And it's really important to not forget about what we do. Okay? And
Yeah, your OBOB kids were really cute.
yeah, and let me
They did a
tell
really
you,
good job.
let me tell you, you know, it's been a joy bringing that back. This is my 3rd year doing it. And the increase from 30 to almost 40 this year, and then also coaching 2 teams this year. I trained Bree to how to do it, so she's going to be on her own next year. And of course, she can always call me and, you know, what are you doing this week? I'll help you. This is what I'm doing. You know, they'll work together. And I just really want to be able to support other LMAs too. And I'm hoping that with the posting of the district librarian position, that we might be able to have PLCs. We might be able to do things that will bring our district together in that way, because I feel like we've been disconnected and we're like an island to ourselves, and it gets really lonely when you're the only LMA in your little school. I mean, you know what I mean? That networking and being able to be with other, you know, teachers have it, and it's just really good. So I just want to share this with you, and thank you very much for your time.
Yeah, thank you.
And with that, we're,
Oh, can I ask a quick question?
Please.
I don't know if I caught this, but was there a request for a 10% COLA increase at the very
Yes.
beginning? Okay, I
yes,
just was-
you got it right. It's in,
Yeah,
it's
I
on,
think
in
it's
your
on
writing.
page
Okay,
2.
just
Yep.
checking.
Nope, that's fine.
Page 2?
And then also, you know, Kim, if we could leave this person to S if you want to fix S. I mean, we'd be open to that. So.
Oh, here,
All right, well, thank you all for your time. I guess we can go off record now, and
Okay.
because I don't need to sign
Oh,
TAs.
to get a signature?
Oh, okay, yeah, Ron and
Yeah,
I.
I have to sign everything else, just not
Okay.
TAs.
Okay.
Yeah,
Constitution.
Ron and I can just do it.
Right,
Yeah.
so we'll clean it up and,
Send it out.
and then send it
Yeah.
out for those signatures, and then we can mark those ones off our list.
Yeah.
That's my hope too, because it'll save, even if it's just a few minutes, it'll save some time for next time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because we got a lot to work with now, so, or you guys
Yeah.
got a lot to
We
work
got the
with.
packet, man.
We
got the
do,
packet.
we've got your packet,
Yep.
so, yeah.
All right, well, thank you all for your time, appreciate you hanging out an extra hour with us too, and
Thank you for the
we'll
pizza.
see you next week.
We need to circle around that one.
Oh, right. Oh, do we want to look at some bargaining dates, because we're kind of getting to the end of our, we have 1 or 2 more?
We have 2 more.
May 29th.
So our
Yeah.
calendar.
Gmail is a little
Gmail's
wonky at the
down. I
moment.
don't know if we can even get in there.
So everything's open then?
I have no appointments right now.
Can we possibly open next session with scheduling a couple follow-up
Well,
sessions?
we could also do it via email too. You could send us dates that work for you, and then we
Okay.
can
Okay.
talk to our team and get back to you.
Okay.
That way, just we don't have to wait, because my calendar's filling up quickly, and so I just want to make sure I have dates for you guys too. So,
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah,
Because I know June's
Yeah,
kind of hard
sorry.
to get dates.
yeah.
We don't
Yeah.
meet again.
Yeah.
So the
7th.
And do you guys have any, like, full PD days coming up anytime soon before the end of the year, or anything like that?
We have a day tomorrow where we don't have kids,
Oh.
but,
Teacher work
Yeah.
day.
but it's a
yeah.
teacher work day.
No, I was just trying to think if we have, like we found one of those in another district, and we're just gonna, we set an all-day schedule and try to see. if we-
Right.
I don't, I
not-
don't think we have anything else until then.
We can try and do an all-day schedule, but it's still.
Well, I can't do it tomorrow, unfortunately.
Right.
So,
I can't do it.
but I'm just saying if that,
Maybe
it's,
there's a
it's just
last
a thought.
school.
As we get into June, it gets a little bit easier to do something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah,
as
well, that's
long
when
as
ours
we
is
schedule
in
it
June,
advance.
yeah, any other place.
Yeah.
Just trying to throw out some ideas, just it gives us more time to work through, especially some of these more complicated ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you very much.